You probably know the famous jingle, "When banks compete, you win." But the man who created that reality, the visionary who changed how millions of Americans borrow money, is gone. And his story ended in an instant. On Sunday, October 12, 2025, the world of finance paused. Doug Lebda, founder and CEO of the financial giant LendingTree, died unexpectedly at the age of 55. The cause? A tragic all-terrain vehicle accident at his family's farm in North Carolina. It was a shocking, sudden end to the life of a financial mogul, a loving husband, a father of three, and a man the company board called a visionary leader.
But Doug Lebda was more than just a CEO. His story is a classic American tale of turning frustration into a billion-dollar empire. From a simple moment of personal annoyance, he didn't just build a company. He fundamentally shifted the power dynamic between banks and consumers. This is the incredible, complex, and ultimately heartbreaking story of Doug Lebda. Doug's journey didn't start in a high-rise office. It began in the early 90s, when he was just an auditor and consultant for PricewaterhouseCoopers. When he went to buy his first condo in Pittsburgh, he hit a wall. The process of getting a mortgage was cumbersome, opaque, and entirely bank-centric. He had to physically visit bank after bank, trying to decipher complex, non-comparable offers. He famously described the process as excruciating.
He had his eureka moment while attending the University of Virginia's Darden School of Business for his MBA. Doug realized the process was broken because the consumer was doing all the work. What if he could flip the script? What if he could create a marketplace where banks had to compete for the consumer's business? He dropped out of Darden, armed with an idea and just $3,000, and set out to build a platform that would revolutionize finance. He co-founded the company in 1996, eventually naming it LendingTree. It launched nationally in 1998, just as the internet boom was taking off. The concept was immediately successful. Within 2 years, in 2000, Lebda led LendingTree through a successful IPO right on the eve of the infamous dot-com meltdown. He survived the bust, establishing himself not just as a visionary, but as a resilient leader. The early 2000s were a roller coaster. In 2003, media giant IAC/Interactive Corp., led by the legendary Barry Diller, acquired LendingTree for $725 million. Doug stayed on, eventually rising to become president and COO of IAC from 2005 to 2008. But Diller's acquisition didn't work out as planned. The 2007 to 2009 financial crisis hammered the mortgage market, leading IAC to spin off the struggling company. This was Doug Lebda's ultimate test. He rejoined the newly spun-off company, rebranded as LendingTree, to rebuild what he had created. He focused on diversification, moving beyond just mortgages to include personal loans, credit cards, and insurance. The result was a dramatic turnaround. Between 2013 and 2018, the stock soared, and LendingTree became one of the hottest fintech stocks in the U.S. Doug Lebda wasn't just a financial whiz. He was an endurance athlete, a triathlete who ran marathons and ultramarathons. He brought that mindset of relentless persistence to his business. But even a titan faces headwinds. In recent years, competition from giants like NerdWallet and Credit Karma cooled the growth, and the stock tumbled from its peak. Yet, Lebda continued to lead, always looking for the next innovation. Who was Doug Lebda outside of LendingTree? He was a devoted family man, a co-founder of a financial education platform for children called Tycoon, and a prominent figure in his community. He was also a part owner of the NFL's Pittsburgh Steelers, connecting him to his personal passions. His philanthropy, including a major donation for rural healthcare, showed a man who believed in lifting others up.
He had a philosophy. All of my ideas come from my own experiences and problems. He was a pragmatist, an innovator driven by the need to solve real-world problems. His true legacy is not just the billions LendingTree was worth at its peak, but the change he enacted, empowering the consumer to take control of their financial life. That famous slogan is etched into the American financial psyche.
And then, the story stops. The sudden, violent finality of the ATV accident left the business world reeling. A financial leader who navigated dot-com busts and financial crises was taken not by a market downturn, but by a simple, tragic accident at his home. The company's stock immediately dropped, reflecting the shock and uncertainty of losing a founder CEO who had been the heart and soul of the business for nearly 3 decades.
Doug Lebda's journey is a powerful reminder that even the most successful leaders are human. His life was a masterclass in entrepreneurship, identifying a problem, refusing to accept the status quo, and building a system that benefited millions. While his time was cut tragically short, his disruptive vision, the simple but profound idea that banks should chase the customer, will continue to define the financial landscape for decades. What do you think was Doug Lebda's greatest contribution? Was it empowering the consumer or surviving the crises? Let us know in the comments below. And subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of the world's most transformative figures.